They said I was too heavy for Thanksgiving, so they locked the door and moved on without me. But when I stopped paying their bills, things unraveled fast. I stayed quiet when they cut me out, even when they trashed my name online and whispered lies to my boss. But silence has a limit, and mine just ran out. This is the story of how my own family tried to erase me and how, without a single scream, I exposed everything they'd buried. If you think love always means loyalty, you haven't heard what they did next. If this story moved you, if you've ever felt silenced, overlooked, or pushed aside by the very people meant to love you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your voice matters. And together, we're building a space where truth is seen and strength is never mistaken for trouble. They say Thanksgiving is about coming home, about warm smells and familiar voices, about forgiveness and second helpings, and that one uncle who always burns the roll. But last year, Thanksgiving taught me something different. It taught me that family isn't always who shares your blood. Sometimes it's who's ready to bleed with you when life cuts deep. I was halfway through packing my overnight bag when my phone rang. The scent of pumpkin pie clung to my hoodie, fresh from the oven, and the crisp November air drifted through a cracked window. Outside, Portland was folding into winter, slow, wet snowflakes dancing in the wind, as if mocking the idea of a cozy holiday. The caller ID read, Noah. My little brother. Hey, Ava, he said, voice too cheerful, that forced tone people use before dropping a hammer. So, Madison's been really sensitive lately to, emotional energy. Emotional energy? She's doing this thing with a mindfulness coach, and they said she should avoid high-stress environments right now. And with your job, the hospital, it can make your energy feel a little heavy? I didn't say anything. We're just thinking. Maybe you sit this Thanksgiving out? No hard feelings. Just space and peace, It felt like I had just been uninvited from a neighborhood potluck. Not Thanksgiving. Not my family. I swallowed the lump in my throat, pretended it didn't sting. Okay, I said. That's it, just one word. An hour later, my mom called. I shouldn't have answered. Her voice was syrupy sweet, too smooth to trust. Hi, honey, she cooed. We want things to feel light this year. You understand, don't you? There was no, how are you? No, are you okay with this? Just, if you come, it might stir things up. Honestly, we might not even open the door. They said it like it was kindness, like they were protecting me from ruining their good time. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I didn't ask why I was the problem. Instead, I stood in my quiet apartment, stared at the half-zipped suitcase by the door, my moss green sweater, the one I wore every Thanksgiving, sat on top. I folded it slowly and slid it back into the drawer. The bourbon I'd bought for my dad, which he claimed he didn't like, but always finished, back into the cabinet. The new cookbook for Mom, into the closet. The novelty turkey socks for Noah, I threw them in the trash. I moved like someone dismantling a dream, gently but with finality. Then I turned off the string lights around the window, put the untouched pie in the fridge, and opened my laptop. My fingers hovered over the keyboard for just a second. Then I opened my bank account. First, I canceled the monthly payment for the Morgan Family Home Repair Fund, a fancy name for me fixing Mom's broken dishwasher. Next, the tuition stipend I'd been secretly sending Noah. Then, the therapy copay I'd been covering for Mom. Click, click, gone. All the invisible lifelines I'd provided, snipped like loose threads. They called me a storm, said my presence was too intense, too heavy. But who had been holding up the roof when they forgot how to hammer a single nail? Who paid for the gas when Noah's gallery forgot his commission again? They didn't want me at the table. Fine, but without me? Who's going to keep the table from collapsing? I sat at the edge of my bed, my hand resting on my phone, watching the notifications buzz. Facebook memories of Thanksgivings past. Me passing out pie slices. Me laughing beside the fireplace. All lies now. That night I didn't eat, didn't cry. I just sat in the dark, pie still cold in the fridge, heart hollow like the space they'd made when they decided I didn't belong. And still, I said nothing. Because silence? Silence is the only thing they ever seemed to listen to. I didn't expect gratitude. I didn't even expect fairness. But I didn't think they'd turn me into the villain in a story I spent years helping to build. 3 days after I canceled every payment, I was stirring honey into a lukewarm mug of tea when my phone buzzed on the counter. A message from a coworker, one I trusted. "Hey, Ava, you seen this?" Attached was a screenshot of a Facebook post. I didn't need to read the name to know it was my mother. The first line already tasted like poison. It's heartbreaking to watch the child you raised walk away when you need them most. I scrolled, paragraph after paragraph, perfectly measured, like courtroom testimony. She didn't name me, but she didn't have to. Everyone knew, her neighbors, her book club friends, the same mutuals who'd watched me deliver groceries to her house in the middle of flu season after a 14-hour shift. Some kids forget the sacrifices, the long nights, the unconditional love. They stop showing up. They stop caring. And in the end, you realize maybe love isn't enough. Under the post, the comments came like a slow, relentless leak in the ceiling. So sad. Some children don't deserve mothers like you. She'll regret it one day. You'll see. Ungrateful generation. Each word dragged me under, one breath at a time. I wasn't just watching a narrative be rewritten. I was being erased from it entirely. I didn't respond. Didn't post a counter explanation. I just sat there, tea untouched, heart aching in a place I didn't even know still had nerves. They wanted me to carry the weight of the family in silence, and when I stopped, they called it betrayal. A few days later, I was reviewing a patient's chart in the back office when a soft knock landed on my door. It was Rebecca from HR. Her face was pinched with something between politeness and dread. She clutched her laptop like it might shield her. "Ava," she said gently, "can we chat for a minute?" She led me into a meeting room that smelled like old coffee and recycled air. The lights overhead buzzed. Too bright, too sterile. She opened her laptop, rotated it toward me. "We received an email this morning," she said, "from someone claiming to be your mother." The subject line chilled my spine. Concern for my daughter, Dr. Ava Morgan. I read the first few lines. They were laced with sugar and venom. "I'm not trying to cause trouble, but I'm deeply worried. Ava's been emotionally unstable, overworked. Her patients might be at risk if she doesn't rest. I'm only reaching out because I care." Each word was a razor blade dipped in syrup. No direct accusations, no medical diagnosis, just insinuation wrapped in concern. Rebecca cleared her throat. Per protocol, we're required to flag this and forward it to the board. I nodded. I didn't say a word. I couldn't. Not because I was afraid. Because I'd seen this exact manipulation before. In dinner conversations, in family group texts, in carefully phrased jokes about how Ava always takes things so seriously. Now they were repackaging my exhaustion as instability, turning my sacrifice into suspicion. They didn't just want to exclude me from Thanksgiving, they wanted to destroy my credibility. When Rebecca left, I stared at the email still glowing on the screen. At the final line, I only hope the hospital helps my daughter take some time off. For everyone's sake, not my sake, never for me. I closed the laptop, rested my palms on the lid, not to steady myself, but to say goodbye to whatever illusion I had left about being protected by the title doctor or by family. But they weren't finished. The next call came from HR again, a different voice this time. "Hi, this is Janet. We received a second concern today from your brother, Noah." Of course, I wasn't even surprised. Janet's voice was calm, almost apologetic. "He said he's worried you might be hiding how much you're struggling emotionally, that he loves you, but thinks maybe someone should step in just to make sure patients aren't at risk. No facts, no examples, just the kind of vague, gentle language that cuts deepest because it sounds so reasonable." I stood frozen in the hallway after the call, fluorescent lights glaring down. The weight of it wasn't just the betrayal, it was how familiar it was. Noah had always been that way, the golden boy with soft hands and sharper words. He knew how to say "I'm concerned" in a way that sounded noble but landed like a knife in the gut. And now he was trying to gut my career. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stood there. A licensed physician, a frontline worker, a woman who had spent the last decade keeping other people alive, and realized my own family had launched a quiet campaign to take me down. Not because I'd done something wrong, but because I finally stopped doing everything for them. The silence was louder than ever. After Noah's call to HR, after Mom's email dressed in concern but dipped in poison, I expected things to get worse. But nothing came. Just stillness. Like the moment right before a hurricane makes landfall. Then something shifted, and it didn't come from me. I was on my lunch break eating stale crackers in the staff lounge when my phone vibrated. It was an Instagram notification. Madison posted. Curious, I clicked. The photo was quiet, almost poetic. Her grandmother in black and white, sitting in an armchair, smiling faintly. A woman's hand rested gently on hers. Mine. No tags, no names, just the caption. "When I was 6, my grandma taught me to peel apples without breaking the skin. She said, 'Take your time, baby. Anything worth doing right is worth doing slow.' A few months ago, we almost lost her, and one doctor stayed after her shift, coordinated tests, and held our hands through the longest night. She didn't ask for thanks. She just showed up." I froze. She didn't name me, but everyone at that Thanksgiving dinner, the one I'd been uninvited from, knew exactly who she meant. And it spread like wildfire. Comments poured in. Shares, likes, reposts in the Portland art scene. Friends of Noah, patrons, people who once gushed over his moody oil paintings and called him a sensitive visionary were now asking real questions. Wait, this is Ava, right? Didn't she get iced out of the family dinner? Yikes, makes you wonder who the real problem was. It was one post, gentle, subtle, but it tore a hole through their curated narrative, because light, when it's honest, doesn't need to shout. It just needs to shine. By the end of the week, Noah's biggest sponsor, Thomas Calder, A major investor in the West Coast art scene pulled his funding. I heard about it from a nurse who followed Calder's blog. Apparently, Thomas had read the post 3 times, then the comments, then more of Noah's past statements, and quietly walked away. No drama, just a message to Noah's agent. I won't be associating with that name anymore. And just like that, the Golden Boy's platform began to crack. Meanwhile, I stayed quiet, not because I was afraid, because I was watching something I'd never thought possible. The truth was crawling out from under their story, and then came the call that changed everything. I'd just finished a double shift. I was standing by the ancient coffee machine at St. Jude's, pouring myself the last bitter lynch of coffee, when my phone buzzed again. Julia Hayes. Chronicle Press. I blinked. That name I knew. She was the kind of investigative journalist who didn't waste time. Her stories were sharp, unapologetic, and always rooted in truth. I answered, cautious. Dr. Morgan speaking. Her voice was calm, warm, but direct. Hi, Dr. Morgan. I hope I'm not intruding, but I've been following a trail of anonymous donations to rural hospitals and community health centers across the Pacific Northwest. Consistent, generous, and traced back to a pseudonym, one that, with some digging, led to you. I froze. She went on, I spoke with 3 directors from the clinics. Each of them described a woman who asked for no credit, only results. A woman who funded programs, fixed roofs, paid staff bonuses, and never gave her real name, only instructions. I stayed quiet. My hand trembled slightly around the paper cup. I know you didn't do it for attention, she added. That's why it matters. I could have ended the call right there. I should have. But something about her tone, about being seen, made me stay. If you write it, I whispered, don't make me sound like a miracle. I'm not. I'm just someone who did the right thing when no one else would. Julia was silent for a moment. Then she said, that's the headline. I hung up, leaned against the counter, heart pounding, not from fear, from the ache of being acknowledged. Because for so long, I'd been the silent engine, the one who moved mountains without ever asking for applause. And now, for the first time, someone had noticed, without strings, without spin. Later that night, I opened my photo album, not the digital one, the old one with worn leather and bent corners. I flipped to the page with Noah in his graduation robe, me beside him, hand on his shoulder, beaming like a proud sister. That picture had sat on my mother's mantle for years, until they decided my presence was no longer aesthetic. They edited me out of the present. Now they were trying to scrub me from the past. But they forgot something. You can't erase someone who made the foundation. You can't rewrite a story when the receipts still live in your hard drive, your blood, your bones. I didn't post anything that night. No rebuttals, no subtweets, no vague statuses. I just sat with the knowledge that someone, finally, saw me not as a cautionary tale, not as a burden, but as what I always was, the one who stayed, the one who showed up, the one who saved lives, quietly. And that was louder than any family drama could ever be. You spend so many years being invisible, you start to believe it's a kindness, that maybe silence is just another word for peace. But then someone sees you, really sees you, and suddenly the weight of all the years you carried alone hits like a tidal wave. It started with a letter, a physical letter, real paper and everything. That alone almost made me cry. No email signature, No digital trail, just careful handwriting in blue ink on lavender-scented stationery. It was from a woman named Agnes Reynolds, 87 years old, one of my former patients. She wrote, "No family left, just me. But I want you to know, Dr. Morgan, you stayed with me. When I forgot who I was, you reminded me without making me feel ashamed. You smiled every time I repeated the same story. You didn't rush. You saw me." I sat in the hospital break room, hands trembling over every word. Agnes didn't know about the HR accusations. She hadn't seen the posts. She had no idea my own mother tried to turn my job into a liability. She just remembered my kindness, the kind no one had to witness for it to be real. At the bottom of the letter, she wrote, "If I don't make it to Christmas, please make sure someone tells her thank you, not just from me, but from all of us who never found the words." I cried then, not loud, not messy, just a quiet sob that cracked something loose inside my ribs. They'd tried to label me unstable. Agnes reminded me I was steady. They said my presence was too heavy. Agnes called me an anchor. And just when I thought I could breathe again, the phone rang. Aunt Eleanor. The only one who never joined the smear campaign. The only one who sent me birthday cards without expecting a response. Her voice wavered. "Ave, I wanted you to hear it from me. Something happened at dinner yesterday." She told me Mom had pulled out the old photo albums. A tradition. A performance, really. Old pictures, plastic smiles, curated nostalgia. Someone passed around that Thanksgiving photo. I knew the one. Me at age 9, in that oversized green sweater, off to the side of the frame, eyes barely visible, always off-center, never the focus. Then Madison looked at the photo. She went quiet, and then, in front of everyone, she asked, "That's Dr. Ava Morgan, isn't it? She treated my grandmother. She saved her." Aunt Eleanor paused. The room went silent, like all the air just vanished. Then Madison looked directly at my mother and asked, "Is that the sister you never talk about?" I could picture it, the plates, the flickering candles, the sudden sharpness in the air, the moment where truths can't be stuffed back into napkins or buried under gravy and cranberry sauce. Aunt Eleanor said Madison didn't stay long. She thanked everyone politely, grabbed her coat, and walked out. But before she did, she looked right at my mother. "I don't know what Madison saw," Aunt Eleanor said, "but it wasn't respect." That night, Madison called her. She was angry, not loud, betrayed. Why didn't anyone tell me who Ava really was? Why didn't anyone say she's the one who kept this family afloat? Aunt Eleanor's voice cracked. "I'm sorry, Ava. I should have said your name sooner. I should have made them say it too." I didn't blame her. She was the only one who left care packages outside my dorm. The only one who never used my silence as a weapon. I said, "You didn't forget I was there. That's enough." And somehow in that moment, I realized I didn't need to be applauded. I just needed to be acknowledged. The people who matter, they were starting to speak. And not just for me, for themselves, for truth. And the ones who tried to erase me, their silence was growing louder by the hour. I used to think family meant staying behind the curtain, pulling the strings so everyone else could shine. They called it love. I called it survival. But survival isn't living, and silence, it's not peace. It's a cage, so I stopped apologizing. It began with a single email. No drama, no threats, Just a subject line, subject, you're on your own now. From Dr. Ava Morgan to Noah Morgan. Noah, I used to think fading into the background was what made me a good daughter, a good sister. If I stayed quiet, gave more than I held, maybe I'd finally belong. I baked the pies, paid the bills, cleaned up every mess you made without asking for a thank you. And when you cut me out of Thanksgiving like I was a stain on the carpet, I said nothing. You told HR I might be unstable, not because you cared, but because you wanted me quiet, controlled, convenient. But here's the truth you never saw coming. I was never your problem, Noah. I was your foundation, your safety net, the one who caught you every time you fell, and I'm done being your cushion. This isn't a plea. It's not even a warning. It's a full stop. Don't reply. This isn't a conversation. It's a goodbye. I hit send without waiting for my pulse to settle, and for the first time in my adult life, the silence afterward felt earned. That night, I lit a single candle on the windowsill. No guests, no grand toast, just me, a bowl of soup, and the warmth of choosing myself, without asking for anyone's permission. A week later, I was standing in the wings of an auditorium in Seattle, stage lights glowing like distant stars. They were honoring healthcare workers, real, quiet heroes. I'd been nominated anonymously. When they called my name, Dr. Ava Morgan, the applause wasn't thunderous. It was steady, respectful, true. I stepped into the light. No flashy dress, no polished speech, just a white blouse, a steady voice, and a story etched into every long night every patient saved without applause. The host began. Nobody knew Dr. Morgan was the anonymous donor behind 5 rural clinics in Oregon. Nobody knew she pulled 36 hours straight during the winter power outage to keep the ER afloat. She never told anyone. She never asked for anything. I didn't cry. I didn't bask. I just stood there, finally seen, not as someone's daughter or someone's scapegoat, but as me. Across town, I heard later, Noah was losing more than just gallery bookings. One of his major patrons, the one who'd once called him a breath of raw genius, posted a statement online. We invest in integrity, not curated identities built on someone else's silence. My name wasn't mentioned. It didn't have to be, but Madison's was, because 2 days later, she posted a photo. Not a flashy one, just a close-up of my hand resting on her grandmother's shoulder. Her caption was quiet, sharp as truth. There are stories told wrong and people cut out of their own history. I stayed silent. Not anymore. The post went viral, not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. It held no bitterness, just a flashlight pointed directly at the truth. And for once, my name didn't need defending, because someone else was finally saying it with respect. I didn't respond. I didn't reshare. I didn't have to. Later that week, I got invited to speak at a national health conference. The topic? The Quiet Givers, Redefining Service Without Applause. Mimic said yes, 'cause now I didn't need to ask if I was worthy. I already knew. Above my desk, I pinned 2 things: Madison's handwritten letter, an apology that asked for nothing in return, and a crayon drawing from a patient's child. Dr. Ava is my hero. My mother still hasn't called. Noah went quiet online. Their world shrunk when I stopped carrying it. But mine expanded. I still show up on time. Still bring cookies for the night shift nurses. Still sit beside confused, scared patients and remind them they matter. But I do it for me now. Not for praise, not for guilt, for peace. Some people walk away from family and never look back, not because they're heartless, but because they've been strong for too long. I didn't win by fighting. I won by staying true, by refusing to rewrite myself for their comfort, by choosing light, even if I had to walk through hell to find it. And in the end, that's what saved me. Not noise, not revenge, just truth, lived out loud.